Hello friends, I hope you're doing well. Today we have a lot of news to cover. In fact, this report is so full of data security shenanigan news, it has gotten to be very dirty. Welcome to the Dirt Report Tech and Telco news from all around Australia. Make sure to like this video if you did and subscribe to support us. Also, quick note, there will be no Dirt Report next week. I'm off to Melbourne for my day job, but I'll make some shorts if I find something cool, so subscribe to see those. Today we have an update on Medibank, Optus, then Aussie Bank scared of data breaches having big fines, and then Australia's attempt at curbing the enthusiastic hackers from peaceful countries. And lastly, some notes about the NBN's future speeds. With that amount of excessive detail on those topics, let's roll the intro and get started. I guess you could say I called it, so here we are. According to the ABC, this week the Australian Federal Police has announced they believe a Russian group is behind the Medibank data breach. Unlike the Optus Open Bar, this cyber incident was real. And it was a real attack. So what now? Well, as is tradition, the Russian embassy in Australia has criticized the statements made by the AFP. Here is what the AFP Commissioner Reece Kershaw said. "We believe these responsible for the breaches are in Russia. These cybercriminals are operating like a business with affiliates and associates who are supporting the business. We also believe that some affiliates may be in other countries. This is a time for all Australians, the community, business and law enforcement to stand together and refuse to give these criminals the notoriety they seek." Sounds like there are cummies amongst us. According to the AFP, the group responsible is called ReEvil, nothing to do with the fantastic 2002 movie Resident Evil. Now, this group has probably been tasked to hit Australians where it really hurts. Our Medibank, bank for medical things. Maybe that was a translation issue? More than likely as a retaliation for sending Bushmasters to Ukraine. Apparently they have been highly praised. Well done, Australia. It's a shame we stopped manufacturing streetcars here too. The Russian embassy has called for cooperation in this matter, and in a statement they said, "For some reason, this announcement was made before the AFP even contacted the Russian side through the existing professional channels of communication. We encourage the AFP to duly get in touch with the respective Russian law enforcement agencies. Fighting cybercrime that adversely affects people's lives and damages businesses demands a cooperative, non-politicized and responsible approach from all members in the world community." Now, can anyone think of any situation has adversely affected people's lives and damaged businesses? Maybe damaged specific lives, in fact? Does that scenario demand a cooperative approach? Maybe all the members of the world community should cooperate in a non-political way to stop such an event? Maybe supply a certain country with... You know where I'm going with this, right? Kershaw said the AFP is in talks with the Russian law enforcement about the hack, stating the AFP is responsible for the Australian Interpol National Central Bureau, which has direct contact with the National Central Bureau of Moscow. Now, Interpol National Central Bureau cooperates on cross-border investigations, operations and arrests. To take investigations beyond national borders, they can seek cooperation from any other national central bureau. It is important to note that Russia benefits from intelligence sharing and data shared through Interpol, and with that comes responsibilities and accountabilities. Sadly, this doesn't undo what has been done. It takes about 20 minutes and a few Google searches to get the 6 GB of data in CSV format from the dark web that contains the personal details of almost 5 million people in Australia so far. Around 5 million more yet to be released. The dark web may be a cool name, but it's not secret. It's very easily accessed, even by the average Joe. And this creates a significant problem for those affected. The information can be easily used for blackmail, stalking, and even certain governments using medical information against citizens in foreign countries or if they arrive home. Think about that one for a moment, specifically for women going back to certain states in America. Medibank chose not to pay $1.60 per user's data, which makes sense if the cash was going to fund the Red Army, or the lack thereof Red Army. Anyway, semantics. Let me know your thoughts below. We await now what Medibank will do for its customers, past and present, because that's right, even if you're no longer a Medibank customer, they still have all your information on file. Speaking of things being done, Optus has finally done something, and the reason it's been radio silence, in my humble opinion, is that it seems they wanted an announcement of goodwill to go alongside some strong financials for their shareholders. In a media release called Optus Delivers a Strong Half-Year Performance, Optus discussed their very strong financial results. So strong, in fact, they can throw a few bones for the customers whose information was stolen because of them. On the second page, links below, after talking about receiving awards for having the fastest 5G speeds when downloading customer data off an unsecured server, the statement read, "At the end of the half year, Optus customers were hit by a cyber crime which exposed customers' personal information. An amount of 140 million has been provided in the current period as an exceptional expense for the expected costs of actions to prevent harm to customers, such as the replacement of identity documents and in relation to recovery activities noted below." So Kelly Bayer Rosemary, Optus CEO, said Optus is committed to rebuilding trust following the cyber attack on its customers. She said, "We recognize how painful the exposure of personal information from the cyber attack on Optus customers has been, and we are deeply sorry." We feel you, Rosemary. So sorry. But really, was it a cyber attack? It's a stretch. That being said, in 2022, the operating revenue of Optus in Australia was $7.2 billion, so just shy of 2% of one's year's revenue is going to fix their 10 million plus customers' personal data problems, which is around $14 per person, which translates to a pie and a Coke with today's inflation from BP. Not out of the hole yet, Optus, but it's a start. Let me know what you guys think below. Back in October, with all the data breaches in mind, the Australian government proposed a fine of up to 50 million, or 3 times the value of any benefit obtained through the misuse of said information, or 30% of a company's adjusted turnover in the relevant period for a serious data breach. And oh boy, our big four banks, telcos, and many other data hoarders were not happy. The big four banks specifically and other lobby groups have raised alarms over such a proposal. Specifically, banks who clocks in billions of dollars in profit each year, that's billions with a B, they were concerned that if they screw up their data security, they may end up with a few fines that might actually hurt. Well, how the turntables. Then the NAB Group CEO Ross McEwen came out with a warning to the Australian government, saying, "We believe the increase in penalties, and particularly the calculation for determining penalty that relates to adjusted annual turnover, are disproportionate and create a much greater maximum penalty than similar privacy and data protection laws across the globe." For context, a data breach from a major Australian company subject to the maximum penalty in the bill could be in the region of 4 times the largest civil penalty order even made against an Australian corporate. Good. Maybe that will force your banks to actually do something about how you securely manage people's private information, and maybe scare a few telco providers to do the same. Meanwhile, in another part of town, Claire O'Neil, the Minister for Home Affairs and Cybersecurity, announced the creation of an Australian task force of 100 officers and defence personnel to hack the hackers. That's right, you heard it here second. Hack the hackers. Joined by Attorney General Mark Dreyfus, O'Neil and Dreyfus said, "This operation will collect intelligence and identify ringleaders, networks and infrastructure in order to disrupt and stop their operations regardless of where they are." This reminds me of an exciting action movie called Taken. Smash the like button if you remember which scene I'm referring to. That's a really long stretch, I get it, but let's move on. They continued, referring to the task force. "They will stop incidents before they start, and when incidents do take place, cybercriminals will be hunted down and their networks disrupted." Now this reminds me of a classic sci-fi hit with Tom Cruise. Comment below your guess and smash the like button and the subscribe button to stay tuned for more movie trivia. Now, to disrupt those hackers, we need some decent internet. Amazing segues aside, the last topic of the day, a new upgrade for NBN Co is coming soon. TM trademarked. During the Comms Day Wholesale Forum, NBN Co's CTO Ray Owen discussed, rather secretly, the upgrades that may befall the NBN in the future. According to Owens, NBN Co is working on upgrading the fiber lines using the XGS-PON, the Passive Optical Network Standard. So if you're wondering what that might be, well, the X stands for 10. But wait, there's more. The new standard can support speeds higher than 10 gigabits a second in a symmetrical data transfer and is part of the family of standards known as the Gigabit-Capable PON. Setting their sights on the future, Owens added NBN Co is helping define standards for 50 gigabits and 100 gigabits PONs going forward. He also said that NBN Co's core network currently peaks at around 18 to 20 terabits per second, but in 5 years that will reach 33. So good transfer speeds are a must. This will take a few years, but upgrades are on the way. So on that reality check, it's time to end this episode. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to tap the like button since you made it all the way here. And so you don't leave empty-handed, smash the subscribe button to support us, as to also be notified of any new videos. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you all in another one. Bye!